Once upon a time, in the heart of Nigeria, nestled amidst the lush greenery and meandering rivers, lay the ancient city of Benin. Here, the Edo tribe thrived, their traditions echoing through the ages like whispers in the wind. Amongst them was a river goddess named Ameh, whose ethereal beauty and benevolence were whispered about in hushed tones. Ameh was not like any other deity. She possessed the power to take on human form, traversing the bustling streets of Benin unnoticed. In her human guise, she wandered through the city, her eyes keenly observing the actions of its inhabitants. To those who were kind and just, she bestowed blessings and good fortune, but to those who harbored malice and wickedness in their hearts, she meted out punishment with swift and merciless justice. Among the many mortals that Ameh encountered, there were 3 who caught her attention: Osoto, a young artisan with dreams of greatness; Iduseji, a wealthy merchant consumed by greed; and Egosa, a cunning trickster who thrived on deceit. Little did Ameh know that her interactions with these individuals would soon spiral into a web of betrayal and treachery. Osoto was a talented sculptor whose skill with his hands was matched only by his pure heart. He spent his days carving intricate figures from blocks of wood, each piece a testament to his unwavering dedication to his craft. Ameh had been drawn to him by his kindness towards the less fortunate, and she often watched him from afar, admiring his selflessness and humility. Iduseji, on the other hand, was a man driven by ambition and avarice. His wealth knew no bounds, acquired through ruthless exploitation of his workers and manipulation of the market. Despite his outward appearance of opulence, his soul was as barren as the desert sands. Ameh had crossed paths with him during one of her visits to the market, where she witnessed firsthand the suffering he inflicted upon those who dared to oppose him. Lastly, there was Egosa, a master of deception whose silver tongue could weave lies as easily as a spider spun its web. He lurked in the shadows, preying on the unsuspecting with his schemes and tricks. Ameh had encountered him during one of her nightly patrols, where she had caught him in the act of swindling an elderly couple out of their life savings. As time passed, Ameh forged a bond with Osoto, drawn to his genuine nature and unwavering integrity. She would often visit him in secret, offering words of encouragement and guidance as he pursued his dreams. Little did she know that her interactions with Osoto had not gone unnoticed by Iduseji and Egosa, who viewed her association with him as a threat to their own nefarious schemes. Driven by jealousy and fear, Iduseji and Egosa hatched a sinister plan to rid themselves of Ameh once and for all. They knew that as a river goddess, she possessed powers beyond their comprehension, but they also knew that every deity had a weakness. Through cunning manipulation and deceitful whispers, they managed to turn Osoto against Ameh, filling his heart with doubt and suspicion. At first, Osoto resisted their influence, but gradually, their poison seeped into his soul like a festering wound. He began to question Ameh's motives, convinced that she harbored ulterior motives for her kindness towards him. Iduseji and Egosa preyed upon his insecurities, feeding his doubts until they consumed him entirely. One fateful night, as Ameh made her way through the streets of Benin, she was ambushed by Iduseji and Egosa, who had enlisted Osoto to aid them in their treachery. Shocked and betrayed by Osoto's sudden betrayal, Ameh found herself surrounded by her former friends, their faces twisted with malice and hatred. With a heavy heart, Ameh realized that she had been deceived, but there was no time for remorse. As Iduseji and Egosa prepared to strike the final blow, Ameh unleashed her divine wrath upon them, unleashing a torrent of water that engulfed them in its icy embrace. The streets of Benin were flooded in an instant, washing away the sins of the wicked and cleansing the city in its wake. In the aftermath of the flood, as the waters receded and the sun rose once more over the horizon, Ameh stood amidst the ruins of Benin, her heart heavy with sorrow. Though she had been betrayed by those she had once called friends, she knew that her duty as a guardian of the river could not be forsaken. With a heavy heart, Ameh bid farewell to the city of Benin, her spirit forever scarred by the betrayal of those she had once trusted. Yet, as she vanished into the depth of the river, a glimmer of hope remained, for even in the darkest of times, the light of redemption still shone bright. And though the wounds inflicted upon her soul may never fully heal, Ameh knew that her legacy would live on, a reminder to all who dared to betray the trust of the river goddess.